Lizzy Caplan, hello.
Hi.
How is life right now? I mean, you've certainly had your hands full. My mate has been recommending me watch Policeman is in Trouble,
Yeah.
which looks really great. I've not
But
got
you
around to it
haven't
yet.
done it. Oh, you haven't gotten around to it.
But
Cool.
it's coming. Don't you worry. I trust
Okay.
his words.
Great.
Party Down came back, which is a
Yeah.
great show. And now, of course, you're taking a pop at one of the most iconic movies of the 1980s in Fatal Attraction. So you've certainly had your hands full the last 12 months or so.
Yes. In fact, it's been almost exactly 12 months.
How's it been like? I suppose as an actor, work is good. I mean, you're
Yeah.
happiest when you're busy, but embodying kind of very different sorts of beats, very different sorts of tones. Does that help you not get bogged down too much in each individual project?
I have never done this much work I've never jammed this much work into 1 year before. Fleischman was first. That was January to June with the little party down in there. I think I could say, I mean, it's come out. Yeah, with the little party down moment in there. And then Fatal Attraction was immediately afterwards, like July through the rest of the year. There's something really lovely about knowing what an entire year will look like before that year begins. I don't think that's ever happened for me. And then getting to do two completely different things back to back, that's all I've personally ever wanted to do. If I can keep doing things that are totally different and especially like juxtaposed so close together, then I will continue to be happy.
And you can't get any more different than Party Down and Fatal Attraction. I mean, those are really at the opposite ends of the scale. Daunting, exciting. What sort of words came through your mind when that script like drops on your desk and you're like, wait, Fatal Attraction doesn't Fatal Attraction, Fatal Attraction.
Yeah. I mean, all of those things. It's also a strange time to revisit the erotic thriller genre. I don't think that we're doing that much of that right now. I love those movies. I'm happy to hopefully herald their return. And yeah, I just, of course it's daunting to tackle anything that people love so much, but it's 2023. I think that our version is a very 2023 version, and I think that will hopefully not make the 1987 Die-Hard fans angry. It will just enhance the story a bit.
It's a kind of an iconic story, an iconic film. Whenever anything similar comes out, they're like, oh, it's like Fatal Attraction-y, that kind of thing. It's used as a shorthand. Let's talk about a point you just made there about it being a kind of 2023 version. When you watch back even iconic, beloved films like that, they do tend to have this feel of like, okay, this is an archetype of some like crazy lady doing crazy stuff, and Glenn Close is incredible in it, but
Incredible.
it's like 0 to 100. And then you think in reality, surely these things are kind of slow burners. Do you think this is important? Do you think it's almost better for a story like this to be told in more long form, with more episodes, to kind of show how these people are taken to these emotional lengths, I suppose?
I think there's an argument for both. They weren't making a ton of these limited series back then. I guess they called them mini-series, and they were like 3 episodes maybe in the States. It's a totally different way to skin this particular cat. And I don't think that the audience needed answers to the questions that the audiences today, I would assume, would require. We were cool being like, this guy seems like a really good guy who did one silly little thing and he doesn't deserve to have all this happen and we should kill that disgusting, horrible woman. That's not really how we watch things now. I think audiences do have more questions about, well, what's going on with her? What's going on with her mental state? How'd she get this way? And also, that guy was married with a kid and he just did a pretty despicable thing and we're just supposed to forgive him completely and immediately and just be on his side. The culture has shifted, and I think personally for me that was the biggest draw. I haven't seen our show yet. I'm a huge fan of the film. And all I can say is it was fascinating for me to tap into those cultural differences, to see how do we tell this story for an audience today.
I was watching this with my other half, and she hadn't seen the original film, and she was very much on point of like, well, he's married. He shouldn't be looking at her like that. He shouldn't be doing this. And I was like, I know, but like, let the story unfold. Do you think we're sort of in a, I don't know if it's overstating it, but maybe kind of a bit of a golden age of television at the moment now, because we look back at a time when this film came out, and there's always been like 2 or 3 great TV shows of any kind of period, like usually on HBO or maybe it's BBC or whatever. Whereas now, because of the power of these streaming services and the money they have and the kind of talent they can get in, it feels like there are these big, well thought out, well written, acted, shiny shows all over the place. And I suppose the only sad bit is you don't get to see them all because there's so many. But for an actor, it must be like a kid in a playground in this day and age.
Yes and no. I think there's too much stuff. I think inevitably great shows fall through the cracks. I think when something does capture the zeitgeist, it's exciting. And I think part of the reason why it's exciting is because it reminds us of how things were in the past, when it felt like everybody was watching the same thing and things were released week to week. Succession, of course, like being the most current like example of it.
I haven't seen the last episode
Dude.
yet, and it's killing me. I've seen what happens on Twitter. It's ruined my entire week. It's ruined my
Just
entire
watch
year.
it. It's still, you will still, it's like, that is, don't worry. It's the first 5 minutes.
It's still going to be great. It's still going to be great.
It's going to be amazing. But I also feel like selfishly as an actor, you know, I've gotten to do a lot of these limited series, which I love doing. And they take quite a while to shoot. It's usually about 6 to 8 months. And if it's released on a streaming service all at once so people could binge it, it's like over in 2 weeks, this thing that you kind of sweated for. So I'm a bit old school. I like the week-to-week release. And I think that, yes, there's a lot of jobs, but it's harder to be in something that people notice just because there's so much. I mean, like you're saying, there's massive movie stars in shows. That's a huge deal, and people don't even watch it. Like, it's wild. It's a wild time.
I do sort of miss the water cooler moments, but it'll be interesting to see how they're kind of releasing things in blocks and trying slow releases again, and you get things with Stranger Things and stuff where you still get that bit of
It's going to
momentum.
go back. I suspect it will go back to commercials,
Yeah,
adverts, and
however they can make money.
Yeah.
And before we wrap up, we have to touch on the shoes you are filling. People want to know, how does it feel to kind of follow one of the greatest actors of the last sort of 50 years in Glenn Close, playing her most beloved, if beloved is the right word, sort of character. Exciting, daunting? Did you give her a call? How are you feeling?
I didn't give her a call. I'd be too scared to do that. But it was all of those things. But, you know, how many opportunities do you get to be really terrified? Always take the scary opportunity.
I interviewed Glenn Close once, and that was an opportunity for me to be terrified. I was like, do not ruin this. Well, I've really enjoyed it. If I can watch more episodes with my girlfriend, we'll have to see. But
don't want to give her any ideas.
Don't
Women, am I right?
Ideas. All men are garbage. But good luck with it. I think it's a great little series, and I love you guys, you and Joshua Jackson as well. Like,
thanks. Yeah, he's great.